My name is Lewis King. I'm here with my wife, Ravina. I was 8-year-old when the war started, and my father was a butcher, and we all had our jobs to do because the men who worked for my dad had to go into the army. So I'm one of 6 children in the family, but we all had jobs allocated to us, and my mother even worked in the shop. But with the rationing, we had a round as well as the shop. So my dad had to go out on the van, particularly weekends, and then mother used to open the shop Friday afternoon to take orders, and they used to get up very early on a Saturday morning to cut all the orders ready for the customers coming in. But the rationing, of course, meat was rationed, so they hadn't much choice of what they could have, and they're all small portions. And that's how the work went. But during the first part of the week, my dad used to go with 4 other men to allocate meat to all the butchers in the area. Our butcher's shop was on South Street, and down that street, it was a street full of shops. There were 1, 2, 3 butcher shops, a hairdresser, a cobbler, a watchmaker, 2 grocer's shops, a ladies' outfitters, a gents' separate one with a grocery one side, ladies the other. Another shop was a gents' and a ladies' outfitters. 3 or 4 grocery shops. But it was one of the busy streets in Caister. There's two cobblers, well, one was a saddler's. He used to make things out of the leather. The other chap, he had a workshop in the basement, and you could go down some steps and watch him repairing shoes, and he had a little open fire. There was cosy in there, and we used to go watch him. And just a bit further down was this clockmaker, and he was called Clocky Harrison. And he was also the town crier, and he was a character. But he had all his clocks and watches on a big round table, and if you watch one clock, he would repair it. But it was an extremely busy street. The marketplace was busy as well, but South Street was really one of the main busy streets in the town. And people used to come in on a Saturday afternoon by bus from the villages to shop in Caister. And there's no need to go to town because they could get everything that they wanted in Caister. It was a busy town.
So I heard you were talking earlier about the plane crash in the Yarborough School field. What was that like?
It crashed one Friday afternoon. The children, fortunately, had left school, I think about 3:30, and the plane crashed about 4 o'clock. And it just got over Caister, and as you know, where Yarborough School is, and it crashed into the field just beyond Yarborough School. Unfortunately, the pilot was killed, but as soon as it had crashed, of course, all the services came and cordoned it all off. But we lived not very far from there, from Yarborough School. We ran up there to see what had happened because we heard the crash, but we couldn't get very close at the time to the plane.
Did you have any family that was serving, and what was that like?
Any family
That was serving?
That were serving in the forces?
Yeah.
No. My dad had been in the First World War, but then we children weren't old enough to go into the forces. And my uncle, he was too old for the forces, but he went into the Home Guard.
What did you do to entertain yourselves?
Well, we always found our own fun, really. We used to have friends come round. We had an old bus, coach in the yard my dad had bought for us to play in when we weren't at school, of course. But we was plenty of homework we had, because in those days I went to the grammar school, Robina went to the Arby school. We had homework to do, so we were always very much occupied. The Home Guard were stationed, well, the headquarters were in Caister, because the captain, Captain Jackson, was the dentist, and they used to meet every week, and they used to do exercises. My uncle was a lieutenant in the Home Guard, and now and again they would have an exercise on a Sunday morning in the marketplace. People would go watch them, pretending the enemy had come and all this sort of thing, which was very interesting. I went to the grammar school, but because the war was on, we never had any school outings at all, like they do now, until towards the end of the war. They did just start, just as we were leaving really, start going out on trips out. But we never had any school outings at all. However, we were quite happy, and the community was a happy community. Yeah. The Americans, there was a rocket site down the North Kelsey Road, which had a plane down there, and the Americans, a lot of Americans came into Caister, and we used to, everybody mixed with them and they mixed with us. And then on a Sunday evening, I'm a Methodist, we're both Methodists, Westgate, which is now the Heritage and Arts Centre, used, after the evening service, used to entertain the troops that was stationed in Caister to a sing-song and refreshments. And the schoolroom used to be packed. They used to come, because virtually they had nothing much else to do unless they went to the pub. So they used to come in for a cup of tea. They were entertained by local people, and they had a jolly good evening in the schoolroom. And that happened every Sunday night. And we were old enough to even go then. But then a youth club was formed in Caister, which we both used to go to. Do you remember? But that was after the war, but it was a good youth club as well. Very good.